For centuries, Europe's landscape has been dotted with grand castles, majestic stone fortresses perched atop misty hills, overlooking quiet villages and winding rivers. These castles were once symbols of power, wealth, and dominance. But behind their towering walls and ancient battlements lie stories far darker than any fairy tale. Beneath the faded glory of medieval nobility, many of these castles are shrouded in legends of curses, hauntings, and unexplainable phenomena. While travel brochures showcase their beauty, the true stories behind these ancient fortresses are often ignored, buried deep in time, as if Europe itself wants to forget them. Today, we uncover the secrets behind some of the most cursed castles in Europe and ask the question, why does no one talk about them? The haunting silence of Houska Castle deep in the Czech Republic, hidden within dense forests, lies Houska Castle, a place that defies architectural logic and historical purpose. Built in the 13th century, the castle was constructed over a massive, gaping hole in the earth. Locals believed it was a direct gateway to hell. Unlike most castles designed to fend off invaders, Houska was built facing inward. Windows look out onto stone walls. Defensive structures protect from the inside, not the outside. No kitchen, no water source, no strategic military value. Houska Castle was never meant to be lived in. Instead, it was built to trap something within. Medieval records speak of prisoners being lowered into the hole as part of a grotesque experiment. When pulled back up, they were reportedly aged, screaming, and driven mad. Today, even modern visitors report chilling encounters, strange growls from empty chambers, shadowy figures moving just out of view, and a palpable sense of dread that clings to the air like fog. Leap Castle and the Elemental Spirit. Travel westward to Ireland and you'll find Leap Castle, often called the most haunted castle in the world. Its halls have witnessed centuries of bloodshed and betrayal, particularly during the brutal power struggles of the O'Carroll clan. One infamous event involved a brother murdering his own sibling, a priest, during Mass in what is now known as the Bloody Chapel, but Leap's darkest secret was only discovered in the 1900s, when workers renovating the chapel found a hidden dungeon. Inside were piles of human bones, hundreds of them, impaled on wooden spikes. Above this pit was a trapdoor where victims had been dropped to their deaths. And then there is the elemental, an ancient, malevolent spirit that haunts the castle. Witnesses describe it as a rotting humanoid creature, accompanied by the stench of decay and sulfur. Locals say the spirit predates even the castle itself, tied to druidic rituals long before stone met mortar. Whatever it is, it's not of this world, yet today, few speak openly about it. Leap Castle has become a destination for ghost hunters and thrill seekers, but the terror it holds feels too real to be just legend. Château de Brissac, the Lady in Green, France, has its own haunted gem in the Loire Valley, the stunning Château de Brissac. But within its gilded halls roams the ghost of a noble woman known only as the Lady in Green. Centuries ago, Charlotte de Breze, the illegitimate daughter of King Charles VII, was married off to Jacques de Breze, the castle's lord. Their union was far from happy. When Jacques discovered Charlotte's affair, he murdered her and her lover in a fit of rage. Her body was hidden within the castle walls and left to rot. Today, visitors report hearing ghostly moans and footsteps echoing through the chambers, especially at night. Her apparition, wearing a green dress and bearing a face disfigured by death, has been seen wandering the halls. The castle, now a luxury tourist spot, avoids mentioning her story in most brochures. The legend remains whispered, passed between guides and curious guests like a secret that must never be fully told. Houska Castle and the Witches of Salzburg. In the snowy alpine region of Austria sits Houska Castle, a site whose history is soaked in blood and superstition. During the 17th century, the castle became the epicenter of the Salzburg witch trials, one of the most gruesome and lesser-known witch hunts in Europe. Hundreds were tortured and executed here, many of them women and even children, accused of weather magic, animal transformations, and consorting with the devil. The castle became a house of horrors. Today, it's said that the spirits of the tortured remain. Strange markings appear on walls overnight. Tourists have reported scratches and bruises after visiting, and some even claim to see witches roaming the grounds at twilight. Despite its terrifying past, Musham is presented as a quaint medieval fortress. The museum guides speak gently about local folklore, careful not to ignite too much fear. But those who stay overnight often return with a deep, indescribable unease. Scotland's Castle of Death, Glamis Castle. Scotland's Glamis Castle is famed as the childhood home of the Queen Mother and the setting for Shakespeare's Macbeth. But its real history is far more disturbing. According to legend, the Bowes-Lyon family who owned the castle hid a monstrous secret within its walls literally. A deformed heir, known only as the Monster of Glamis, was supposedly born into the family and kept hidden in a bricked-off chamber for his entire life. Generations passed, and yet that room remained sealed. Some believe he was the result of a cursed bloodline. Others whisper that he never died, but lived unnaturally long, haunting the hidden passages of the castle. Adding to the mystery, countless ghost sightings, figures without faces, a woman in white who weeps in the chapel, and unexplained thuds from behind locked doors. Despite its royal associations, Glamis keeps these tales buried under layers of decorum. Few official records speak of the monster. No tour visit the sealed room. The silence is deafening. Why these stories are forgotten, but the question remains. Why are these stories so often ignored or downplayed? The answer lies in the clash between myth and modernity. Europe, proud of its heritage, often prefers to showcase castles as architectural marvels and cultural icons. Tourism, after all, thrives on romance and nostalgia, not fear and horror. Admitting to curses and hauntings challenges the rational image many nations want to project. Moreover, these stories often deal with uncomfortable truths, brutal histories, family secrets, and societal cruelty. They don't fit neatly into the narrative of civilization's progress, and so they are softened, altered, or erased. A ghost becomes a playful legend, a mass execution becomes a historical curiosity. The past, it seems, must be managed. But the silence is telling, because these castles still feel alive. Not in the warm, welcoming sense, but in a cold, lingering way, as if the stones themselves remember what happened. As if the walls are trying to whisper their truths to anyone who dares to listen. The cursed castles of Europe are more than just Gothic backdrops or tourist attractions. They are monuments to the unknown, the unseen, and the unspeakable. They hold the weight of centuries of secrets of violence, betrayal, supernatural terror, and forgotten souls. And maybe that's why no one talks about them. Because once you start listening, once you open the door to these ancient horrors, you might never see Europe the same way again.